Hello guys, Vortex from Virpil Controls here, and today I'm gonna cover how to connect Link Tool and XPlane 11 simulation, how to work with simulation variables, and how to work with scripts which are responsible for data transfer from XPlane 11 to Link Tool software. First of all, let's install latest stable Link Tool build. Let's go to https://updates.virpil.com. We can download the latest build by hitting this button, but we go on more page and we select stable release and press download button. So we have now in clicking yes, English, next, install, launch Virpil Controls Link Tool, and we cancel new update. We see that Link Tool detected two VPC devices, it's stick MT50 and throttle MT50 CM3. And now we need to create device profiles for those two devices in order to work with them. So we go to Tools, Devices. First of all, we need to select device. It will be stick first. Mode as USB joystick. Command should be 101 for grips. LED count 1 and LED address. This stick has only one LED with address 1. And let's set image path. We have VPC Link Tool assets folder and we have here grip image. Open and hit generate profile. Okay, so Link Tool will restart and you can see this dark button here. This is the LED indicator. We can set default color in order to see this more in more color way. Let's restart Link Tool once again. Okay, so now we have one LED defined for VPC stick. Let's create other device profile, so it will be a throttle, and it has, let's set picture for the first. So USB stick mode, throttle MT, image. We have our throttle. It has 6 LEDs with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 LED addresses. So we need to set 6 LEDs. Now we see 6 cells and we type LED addresses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And command for this throttle will be 102 and hit generate profile. Okay, so Link Tool will restart and we see that we have more cells in this table under USB devices list and we can operate with those LEDs. So we will be working with XPlane 11 simulator, and first of all we need to download our integration library and integration script for XPlane simulator. For that we can do in a few ways. Let's say on the forum, as I remember, I left some information which is related for XPlane 11 on the first page. Let's use search XPlane. Yes, this was 2.2 release. I added XPlane support, So let's go to this post. I will pin this URL in video description. So what we need? First, we need to download our VPC repository code. And we have this button here. We have here XPlane Integration script. This is a particular script which gets data from XPlane and sends those data to Link Tool. But we also need to download another script which is called FlyWithLua. This is library for XPlane 11 simulator. It has a lot more feature, but we will be covering only one feature from this library. So we go to this link. I will also post this link into video description, and I will put here also, so you will be able to find it here. So first of all, let's download this library, and we hit this button and let's say zip archive, put somewhere in downloads, and now we need to open XPlane folder. So I go to somewhere, I can't remember where I installed my XPlane. So fdisk XPlane resources plugins. This is the folder where FlyWithLua should live. Let's say we have no any FlyWithLua library, so we install it for the first time. I will get rid of my browser and I can remove my link tool for now. Okay, so as you see, we have FlyWithLua master, and we need to move this file from archive here. Let's say we will rename this plugin FlyWithLua. Enter. Okay. In order to check FlyWithLua integration with XPlane 11, we need to run XPlane 11. So let's do this. I have XPlane minimized in order to see all windows. Let's say we get some flight, any flight. So now we have XPlane 11 loaded, and you see this first time using FlyWithLua library message, and we have also some message flowing on our screen, and we have this button plugins FlyWithLua, and have some useful functions which we'll be using later. Particularly, this will be reload all Lua script files button. So now we can see that FlyWithLua is working and accepted by the XPlane 11 simulator. Now we can close or leave our window for a few minutes. On this step, we need to deploy integration script. We call this code integration script, which makes the bridge between XPlane and Link Tool. Basically, it sends UDP data from XPlane to Link Tool. Now we go to Link Tool, and we have there a menu button called integrations, and we need to click deploy XPlane 11 script, and we need to select FlyWithLua scripts folder. So we are searching our XPlane installation, XPlane resources, plugins, FlyWithLua, and scripts folder. This is what we should select on the first step. Select folder. So waiting, and we have a message XPlane 11 script deployed. Let's check this location. So we will be working with this stuff, and we have a few files here. We have First of all, let's ignore, don't pay attention on this. This is internal stuff. We have config lua.tpl file. This is like a template file. For those who is working with code, any coding for the first time, I recommend to use Visual Studio Code, which you can find even by googling VS Code. This is a nice, small, lightweight code editor, and it has a lot of features. So I already downloaded and installed this code editor, so I will be working with Visual Studio Code. So I put this file. We have two configs here. This is server host and server port. This is UDP server, which will receive any data from XPlane. This server is provided by Link Tool when you hit start button. Let it keep by default. It will be 49000 port, and this data should be equal to tools options and search for XPlane 11 options. As you see, IP address and IP port should be the same as defined in this file. Also, I would like to say that this file extension shouldn't be changed in any way. This should always be lua.tpl, because this template file is injected into the main script file as a template. XPlane 11 is reading all Lua files step by step, so that's why we do not need to change this file. So we have some helper functions for coding. This is just for reading files using I/O components from Lua. It's not so important. Render Lua TPL. This is some render functionality. I don't recommend to edit this file. Only advanced users can do it. Basically, it loads all variables from variables JSON file. We have basic template here. As you can see, there are 3 rules defined, 3 arguments, cockpit arguments, like gear retract status, battery status, and N1%. This is engine N1%. So basically, this is the main file where we'll be defining any data which we want to export from XPlane simulator. And we have script. This is basically for programmers, just defining sockets, defining JSON library to do some stuff with JSON. So defining socket connection, connecting, and we will be doing often reading reader TPL file. This is some callback from XPlane, from FlyWithLua. Let's Google FlyWithLua events. But we can copy and paste, and yes, FlyWithLua quick reference, and do often. Let's search for some do often. Yes, so we have do often. This is a string containing Lua code you want to be calculated every second. So this means that script which is located in reader Lua TPL will be executed every 1 second. Unfortunately, there is no any possibility to change this poll rate. because this function is defined to run every second. We have other functions like do sometimes every 10 seconds, do every frame. This is lightning fast code, so if you want to transfer your data on every frame, you need to edit this script Lua and do often replace by do every frame. It takes Lua code string as parameter, so all this stuff, read all, script directory, and concatenation with reader Lua TPL. So this is argument which should be passed into do every frame function. But I will keep all default, so for me 1 time per second is enough. I think it's enough. And do on exit. When we exit XPlane, we close socket which was opened probably in script.lua. Yes, set per name, and we close connection with our UDP server provided by Link Tool. So this is how code base done in our integration script, and let's do something with some parameters. First of all, let's test will it work with our link tool. So we select XPlane 11 and just hit start button. My LEDs became green or cyan color. Now we need to reload our scripts before we had XPlane 11 running, and I did script deployment, so we need to update our scripts, and we hit fly with plugins, FlyWithLua, and reload all plugins. So as you see now, in the left corner of VPC Link Tool, we have three arguments. It's ACF gear retract, battery on, and N1%. So we can check, let's say, by moving this handle. As you see, values are updated on the left side and 1%. So after you make sure that you see those three arguments exposed from XPlane 11, it means that everything works fine and we can work with some new arguments. First question, where we can get any data which can be exported from XPlane. So basically we go to some Google and we Google for XPlane 11 dataref. So on the developers portal, it's the first link which Google provides for us. We open this, and this is the full list of data arguments which can be exposed, which can be exported from XPlane to Link Tool by UDP server. As you can see, there are a lot of stuff and all the description here. Basically, it's a name, let's say radio altimeter step in feet. Type of its float value. This is math. Version, we don't pay any attention on version column. Writable, we also don't pay attention because we do not write any values. Writable, it means that we can set externally these values. So when you're writing some software and it can send any commands to XPlane 11 and set some values to different cockpit elements, switches, knobs, and so on. So let's add some new arguments into our integration script. Let's say maybe it will be related to flaps or engines. Elevator flaps. we need to search for some proper values. I would like to set, so we have engine call flaps argument, and we can set this argument to our script. So as you can see, we have some kind of links here. This is category where call flaps control is placed under. So basically it will be 0 or 1. Call flaps control, 0 is closed, 1 is open. So what we should do? First we go to our FlyWithLua library, FlyWithLua scripts and variables JSON. As I told earlier, this is the main file where we do our stuff in order to export some data from XPlane. So we open this file. I recommend to use, as I said, Visual Studio Code. This is a pretty nice editor to work with JSON format. So basically JSON is a JavaScript object notation. It defines any objects, any arrays. This is the way how to define objects, arrays, properties, and values. So as you can see, we have two brackets here. It means that this is an array of elements, and in our case this is an array of objects. Basically this is one object which have two properties, name and ref. This is another object, and this is third object. So we will be defining those objects, and we will define the variables which will be exported from XPlane. So we set comma and open brackets in order to define new objects. So first it will be name, some name, two dots, and its value. This is the way how property and its value is separated from each one. As you see, first there is an property and its value 1, 2, 3. But in our case, we will be defining name as in the first column of this dataref table. This will be engine call, yes. So we copy this value and paste it here. So this name will be displayed in our link tool. This will be displayed here under N1%. And after, we need to copy this URL. Let's say it's URL, some kind of URL for our engine call argument. So that's why we need to set second property ref from reference, but we also need to get this engine call name and paste after this ref. So the full path for this argument will be sim flight model engine call. Okay, so after we did this, we need to refresh our arguments, our scripts which exposing our arguments. So reload all scripts and go to link tool, and you can see now we have engine call. As you probably see, the value is a bit weird, but maybe it's related to XPlane 11 implementation. Documentation says that it will be 0 or 1. Maybe it's a degrees in degrees value or radians, how much it's opened. Unfortunately, documentation is a bit weak, but I think we can work with this and define any rules for those arguments. So let's find other stuff related to engine. I have found another flap definition. It's flap handle deploy ratio. So we can see 0.0 is flaps fully retracted and 1.0 is flaps fully extended. I think it's also a suitable way to define our flap status. So we copy this value and we go to our variables JSON file, comma, and opening new object. So this will be new object with properties name, and value will be the name of the argument in this table. I copied this, and let's find a ref link reference. We copy this ref and create another property called ref reference. So we paste what we copied, SimFlight Model 2 controls and flap handle deploy ratio. So we save the file and go to XPlane 11, hit escape, plugins, FlyWithLua, reload all scripts. So now we should see new argument in our VPC Link Tool. As you can see, flap handle deploy ratio. I'm not sure if I can find in this cockpit this flap handle, but anyway, you can pay some time and try to find this where it's located. Also, we have this annoying first time using FlyWithLua, so let's get rid of this message. First, we need to find our FlyWithLua folder and scripts folder. We have probably here this please read the manual, which is populating this first time using Lua. So we basically need to delete this file and we will be happy. So let's reload all Lua script files, and as you can see, we get rid of this annoying window. So we can work with some arguments. I also found another nice argument, so we can add this argument into variables JSON file. It's called ACF M fuel tot. This is the weight of total fuel. It appears to be in LBS. So let's add this argument to our variables JSON file. First, we open new object, comma, and opening brackets. Property name is ACF and fuel tot, comma, opening ref, semicolon, and we copying this reference here and copying the name after the slash. Yeah. So sim aircraft weight ACF and fuel total. So now we need to reload again all our scripts, escape, plugins, FlyWithLua, reload. And we go to link tool, and as you can see, we have actual mass fuel total. This is the total weight of our fuel. So this is the way how we can work with cockpit and plane arguments, which can be exported from XPlane 11. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time.